There's a real sense that something big is starting to take shape behind the scenes at Rangers FC. And if you've been paying close attention, you'll notice the early signs of what could be a defining summer at Ibrox. The focus right now might still be on finishing the season strongly, but the groundwork for a major rebuild, especially in defense, is already well underway. And one name that's beginning to gather serious attention is Luke Graham, a young defender who seems to fit perfectly into the vision that's quietly being developed. There's no hiding from the fact that changes at the back are coming. Even after a solid debut campaign, Manny Fernandez is starting to attract interest from clubs across Europe's top leagues. It's the kind of attention that's difficult to ignore, and while the club would ideally want to keep hold of him, there's an understanding that the right offer could change everything in a matter of weeks. At the same time, the expected return of Nasser Giga to Wolverhampton Wanderers only adds to the growing uncertainty in that area of the pitch. When you combine that with the likelihood that Derek Cornelius won't be staying on a permanent deal, it becomes clear why the recruitment team isn't wasting any time. Even with John Souter committing his future to the club, there's still a need for depth, balance, and a fresh profile that can evolve with the system being put in place. That's exactly where Graham enters the conversation, and it's not by accident. At just 22 years of age, Graham has been steadily building a reputation in the Scottish Premiership, showing maturity well beyond his years. Under the guidance of Stephen Pressley at Dundee FC, he's taken a major step forward this season, turning potential into consistent performances. It's that progression that has caught the attention of clubs not just in Scotland, but across the continent. What makes Graham particularly interesting isn't just his physical presence, although standing at 6'3" certainly helps. It's the way he carries himself on the ball that really stands out. He's calm under pressure, comfortable stepping forward into midfield, and more than capable of dictating the tempo from deep positions. In a system that demands composure and control, those qualities are invaluable, and they align perfectly with the direction the team appears to be heading. But there's more to his game than just elegance in possession. Defensively, he brings a level of aggression and mobility that's become essential in modern football. He's quick enough to deal with attackers in wide areas, strong enough to handle physical duels, and intelligent in his positioning. It's that balance between technical ability and defensive steel that makes him such a compelling option, especially for a side looking to dominate matches both with and without the ball. Another aspect that shouldn't be overlooked is his versatility. Having operated at left back on occasion, Graham offers tactical flexibility that could prove crucial over the course of a long and demanding season. Managers value players who can adapt, and in a squad that's likely to undergo several changes, having someone who can slot into multiple roles is a major advantage. Despite all the growing attention, Graham himself has remained fully focused on his development. During the recent international break, representing Scotland at under-21 level, he made it clear that his priority is performance, not speculation. That kind of mindset only strengthens his profile, especially for clubs who are looking for players capable of handling pressure and expectation without losing focus. What also works in Rangers' favor is their recent approach to recruitment within Scotland. The addition of Lyle Cameron from Dundee showed a willingness to identify and secure emerging talent domestically, and Graham could easily be the next step in that strategy. It's about building a core of players who understand the league, the demands, and the expectations that come with playing at this level. Of course, it won't be a straightforward move. Interest in Graham is growing rapidly, and Dundee are already preparing for the possibility of losing one of their most promising academy graduates. With several clubs monitoring the situation closely, any deal would likely need to be swift and decisive. Timing could be everything here, especially in a market where competition is only getting stronger. All of this points to a club that isn't waiting around. There's a clear intention to reshape the defensive line, to bring in players who not only fit the system, but can also grow into key roles over time. And if Graham is as high on the list as it seems, then this could be one of the first major moves that sets the tone for what promises to be a fascinating summer at Ibrox. While the situation at the back continues to evolve, there's another storyline quietly gaining momentum, and it could be just as important for the long-term direction of Rangers FC. Behind the intensity of a tightly contested title race, the recruitment team have already started to map out what the next phase of the squad should look like, and one name that keeps resurfacing is Joe Gelhardt. This isn't a sudden development or a reaction to recent form. Gelhardt has been on the radar for quite some time, dating back to his early breakthrough with Wigan Athletic, where his natural attacking instincts and confidence on the ball first turned heads. That potential earned him a move to Leeds United, a step that was expected to accelerate his development, but his journey there hasn't been as straightforward as many predicted. Game time has been inconsistent, and like many young forwards trying to establish themselves, he's had to be patient. Loan spells became a necessary part of that process, but it's his current stint with Hull City that has really started to show what he's capable of when given rhythm and responsibility. 17 goal contributions across the season have highlighted a player growing in confidence, becoming sharper in decision-making, and far more effective in the final third. From Rangers' perspective, the appeal is obvious. Even after strengthening their attacking options in January, there's still a feeling that something is missing when it comes to consistent output in front of goal. The team has had moments of fluid attacking play, but turning dominance into goals hasn't always been as reliable as it needs to be, especially in matches where margins are tight and opportunities are limited. Gelhardt offers a different profile compared to what's already available. He thrives in tight spaces, constantly looking to receive the ball under pressure and drive directly at defenders. There's a natural sharpness to his movement, a willingness to take risks, and an ability to create something out of nothing, which is exactly the kind of unpredictability that can unlock stubborn defenses. His tendency to shift onto his stronger left foot around the edge of the box makes him a constant threat, not just as a creator, but as a finisher. What also stands out is his composure in one-on-one situations. He doesn't rush his actions, instead drawing defenders in before making decisive moves that open up space either for himself or for teammates. That level of control, especially in high-pressure moments, is something that could add a new dimension to the attacking play. It's not just about scoring goals, but about influencing the rhythm and flow of attacks in a more controlled and deliberate way. There's also an added layer to this potential move that could work in Rangers' favor. The connection between Leeds United and the ownership structure linked to the 49ers group creates a pathway that may help smooth negotiations. Whether that leads to an initial loan or something more permanent remains to be seen, but it's the kind of relationship that can make complex deals far more achievable. Tactically, Gelhardt wouldn't necessarily be expected to replace anyone outright. Instead, he could complement the existing attacking options, offering variation rather than duplication. Pairing him with a more physical presence up front could create a balanced and unpredictable attacking unit, where movement, strength, and creativity all combine. That kind of flexibility is often what separates good teams from great ones over the course of a demanding season. As the current campaign edges closer to its conclusion, there's a clear sense that the club is operating with one eye on the present and another firmly on the future. Every point still matters in the title race, but the decisions being made behind the scenes suggest a broader vision is already taking shape. Identifying players like Gelhardt, who still have significant room to grow, points to a strategy focused not just on immediate impact, but on long-term progression. It's this balance between ambition and planning that could define what comes next. If Rangers do move forward with their interest, it wouldn't simply be about adding another attacking option. It would be a statement about the kind of football they want to play, the profiles they value, and the direction they believe will take them to the next level. And the deeper you look into this situation, the clearer it becomes that this isn't just about adding numbers to the squad. It's about redefining how Rangers FC want to function in the final third moving forward. There's a noticeable shift towards players who are comfortable operating between the lines, who don't just wait for chances, but actively create them through movement, intelligence, and bravery on the ball. That's exactly where Joe Gelhardt starts to stand out even more. One of the biggest challenges Rangers have faced at times this season is breaking down compact defensive blocks. When teams sit deep and limit space, the game often demands players who can think quickly in tight areas and execute with precision. Gelhardt has shown that ability consistently. He doesn't shy away from crowded zones. Instead, he embraces them, using close control and quick turns to destabilize defensive structures. That kind of skill set can be the difference in matches where patience alone isn't enough. There's also a growing emphasis on fluidity in attacking roles. Rather than sticking to rigid positions, The modern approach leans towards interchange, rotation, and unpredictability. Gelhardt fits naturally into that idea. He can drift across the front line, drop slightly deeper to link play, or push higher when space opens up. That freedom allows the entire attacking unit to become less predictable, forcing defenders into uncomfortable decisions. Another key factor is his mentality. Despite the ups and downs in his early career, he's continued to push forward, adapting to different environments and learning with each experience. That resilience is something that clubs value highly, especially when bringing in players who are expected to handle pressure from the moment they arrive. At a club like Rangers, where expectations are constant and scrutiny is intense, having that mental strength is just as important as technical ability. It's also worth considering how he could develop within a more structured and clearly defined system. At times, inconsistency in his club situation has made it difficult for him to settle into a rhythm, but in the right environment, with regular minutes and a clear role, there's every reason to believe he could take another significant step forward. Rangers may well see that as an opportunity, not a risk. The timing of all this feels particularly important. With the season nearing its decisive stages, planning ahead becomes crucial. Waiting too long in the market can often lead to missed opportunities, especially when dealing with players whose stock is rising. Gelhardt's current form has already started to attract attention, and if that continues, competition will only intensify. At the same time, the potential structure of a deal could be key. A loan arrangement with an option to make it permanent might offer the ideal balance, giving Rangers the chance to integrate him into the squad while assessing how he adapts to the demands of Scottish football. For Leeds, it could also represent a practical solution, ensuring the player continues to develop while maintaining long-term control over his future. All of these elements combined paint the picture of a club that is thinking carefully about every move. It's not just about reacting to gaps in the squad. It's about anticipating what will be needed to compete at a higher level consistently. The interest in Gelhardt reflects that approach, targeting a player who brings not only quality, but also potential and adaptability. And when you connect that with the broader recruitment strategy already unfolding, it becomes clear that Rangers are building towards something much bigger than a single transfer window. There's a clear identity forming, one that values technical confidence, tactical intelligence, and players who are ready to take responsibility in key moments of a match. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In a revelation that has stirred quiet murmurs across Scottish football circles, former Rangers manager Clement is said to have made a striking admission behind closed doors, one that few supporters would have anticipated. According to whispers emerging from within the club's extended network, Clement allegedly identified midfielder Nicholas Raskin as the most underwhelming player he worked with during his time at Ibrox. While no formal statement has been issued, the claim has begun to gather traction, fueling debate among fans and pundits alike. Raskin, once regarded as a promising addition to the squad, arrived with expectations of composure, energy, and tactical awareness in the middle of the park. Yet, if the rumors hold any weight, Clement's private assessment paints a rather different picture, one of frustration and unmet potential. Those familiar with Clement's managerial style describe him as measured and rarely prone to public criticism, which only adds intrigue to the reported comment. It is precisely this reserved nature that lends credibility, in the eyes of some, to the notion that such a candid evaluation would surface informally rather than through official channels. Supporters remain divided. Some argue that Raskin's performances, while inconsistent, hardly justify such a harsh label, pointing instead to broader structural issues within the squad at the time. Others, however, suggest that Clement's tactical demands may have exposed limitations in the player's game that were not immediately evident. Within the ever-intense environment surrounding Rangers, speculation of this nature rarely fades quietly. Whether the remark was taken out of context, exaggerated through retelling, or accurately reflects Clement's true opinion, it has undoubtedly added another layer of intrigue to the ongoing narrative around both the manager's tenure and Raskin's place in the club's recent history. For now, it remains firmly in the realm of rumor. Yet in Scottish football, Such whispers often carry a resonance that lingers far beyond their origin. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.